Now I'm going to do the dump function. Hello everyone, my name is Matt and this is Firewood in the Field. Thanks for checking out the channel today. Today I'm going to take the front loader off my tractor. This is a T574 TYM tractor with the TX57 front end loader, and I think they might call it a quick park loader, I'm not sure, but I'm going to show you in a short video today how to remove and then how to reinstall the loader. Let me walk you around the machine real quick, point out a couple things, and then we'll get started with the removal process. All right, now I am going to be starting the tractor to go. I'm on fairly level ground. In hindsight, I should have lowered my 3-point and lowered my bucket. Usually when I park my machine, I lower all my implements to the ground, but I'm going to be getting back on. The loader itself, these pins right here, there's a pin right there, and there's one on the other side of the tractor. That's the bulk of what holds it in. You can see this rests on here. Now I put a little grease in there a while back. First time I took this off, it popped kind of hard. I'll talk about that when we go to the reinstallation procedure. And you have these legs, these little fold down legs. And then you have your lines. You take your lines off. So generally speaking, in a nutshell, the summary of the way this works is we're going to start the tractor, raise the front loader way up, and fold those little parking stands down. Then we're going to lower the loader onto those parking stands and take out the pins and use our loader hydraulics with the dump curl on the bucket to have this work itself up and off to where we can drive the tractor out. At that point, before we drive the tractor out too far, we'll shut the engine off, relieve all the hydraulic pressure in the loader circuit, disconnect our lines, and then we can back the tractor out all the rest of the way. Okay, we're going to start the tractor. I can tell as I sit here, I'm on slightly unlevel ground. I should be fine. This is a place where I take my loader off before. The more level, the better. Make sure your parking brake is set. We're going to raise the loader way up in the air. Now, I like to leave the engine running. I'm not going to walk underneath the front loader boom. It's dangerous. You're risking your life if you go underneath that. Odds are nothing will happen. I've never seen my loader slam and fall down, but everything mechanical can fail. So for me, I'm going to make sure I don't get underneath that bucket or that arm whatsoever. There's just a little pin that you pull here. That pin I just took out. That's all there is to it. And then you re-pin the leg in down here. I'm going to go do that on the other side. Sometimes those little clips that hold it in are hard to grab. And the pliers might be handy if you can't get it with your fingers. Let me show you that one. That's it. You can see the one over there. And we're going to lower this down onto it. Okay, now I'm just going to lower this down. And I keep lowering really lightly, and then you'll see. There you go. The camera probably didn't catch that, but I was able to see this loader frame back here just jig just a little bit. I don't know if the camera could catch it, but you want to push down until there's just enough pressure on the ground where you see your loader frame in the back kind of move just a hair. And if you've never taken it off before, my experience is that first time you take them loose, sometimes they're kind of stuck, a little bit of the paint holding it together. So you may have to give it a little bit more force that first time. You'll know you're ready to get started on this when those pins spin. So you'll see me on this side of the tractor. I'll take that big pin out. I'll go around the other side, take the other pin out. This is the pin right here. You see that it's spinning. And I like to put this right back in here right away. And then I'm going to set this in the bucket of my tractor so I don't lose it. Here's the pin on the other side. I started pulling it out. I thought I'd show you. Once you have enough downforce on this, I like to take it off with the bucket better than my forks, because I can rely on my bucket level indicator to know, where I'm at. But you just have there's this little thing here. Sticks through that. You take this off, and then if this doesn't spin and come out easy, then you're in a bind or something's not right. This should come out. The very first time you do it, it might be a little stiff. I had to use a mallet on the other side. You see I put grease on this one. But if it won't come at all, then maybe you need to put a little more down pressure, whatever you need to do to break that loose. All right, so now I've got the weight on the parking stands. The bucket is on the ground. Kind of, you want all three of those touching at the same time. And I've got the pins pulled. So now I'm going to work the tractor hydraulics so the loader frame comes up and clears where it mounts. And there we go. Right, I'm not sure how well the camera captured it, but I did move it a couple times. I always seem to do it the wrong way. But you can see I curled the bucket a little bit, and then I used the loader hydraulics just to get it to where it popped off. And let me bring the camera down and show you what we got here. Okay, you can see it's popped loose. This normally just rests in that cradle. You can see that pin goes through there. You can see that's moved off that much. I like to throw my pins in the bucket so I don't lose them. And same over here. We've popped loose. It might be hard to see. I'm trying to get in around there. I do put a little grease in there. I have not had an issue with it attracting dirt. Next thing is to disconnect the hoses. Now I have an open station and I don't have a third function, so I only have the quick disconnects. So before you do that, real important to take your loader joystick, move it all around just to kind of make sure that there's no residual pressure, and then I will pop these hoses off. And since I'm holding the phone / camera, I'm not going to record doing that. You all know how to take these connectors off. All right, I've disconnected my lines, and these were pretty grubby. I wiped them up a little bit before I took them loose, and then before I put the caps on, I cleaned the caps up pretty good. And then just flip your lines out of the way somewhere so it won't scratch your hood or it won't catch on your tire. The best I find is usually just kind of flop them over the top there. You might get a drip or two. That'll be okay. So now the tractor is ready to just back out from the loader. Okay, at this point, the loader is essentially off the tractor. It's sitting on its own stands and the bucket. The hoses are disconnected. So I like to put it in low range. I like to put the transmission in low and just back away slowly. That's it. That's all there is to it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. The key is just having, a good hard packed ground. You see I'm doing it on gravel. One of them skidded a little bit. The more level, the more solid the ground can be, the better. But I take it mine off on the gravel all the time, no issues. All right, I'm going to pull the tractor into the garage, do what I want to do to it, and I'll show you reinstallation in a little bit. All right, we're ready to put the loader back on the tractor. Something I recommend, I'm not going to reapply it because I already have some there. I just put a little wheel bearing grease in that little pocket and a little bit on the pin, just everywhere where all the surfaces where the loader touches and rests. Just helps it come on and off a little easier. You don't have to do that. I just like it. What we're going to do is we're going to drive the tractor forward slowly and carefully. Drive the tractor up into here to where, and I want to pay close attention to, I'm going to be watching that arm and this cup, whatever you want to call it there. I'm going to get those lined up where they're close enough to each other, and I'll shut the tractor off and hook up the hoses. I recommend doing this in low range so you can go nice and slow. Okay, now I'm going to connect my hydraulic hoses. My hoses are connected, so now I'm going to use the hydraulics on the loader to raise it up and get the bar to rest back into the cup. I'm going to see if I can reposition this so you can see the action of that a little better. I don't normally drive in my mirror like this. I'm trying to get where you can see what's going on in here. All right, I think that's probably as good as I'm going to get. I can't get the tripod any closer. I might run over it. Inch forward just a little bit where it goes underneath. Now, what I just did was I just did the dump function, curl function. See how I raised it up? Now I'm going to do the dump function. And there it sits. Now I'm going to put my pins back in. I do recommend a little coat of grease on these. This still has grease from last time. You may have to make some adjustments. Just like that. That's how you want it. It slides in and out nice and easy. In order to get that to fit, I just had to mess with the motor hydraulics a little bit. I hit the raise feature. All right, just like that. Simple, quick, and easy. You almost need multiple cameras running at once to capture all the different things that you do. But the overall, it's really not that hard. On the other side there, once you get one pin in, the other one is always very close. So in that case, when I was on the other side, it go in, but just a little interference, mess around a little bit with the tractor hydraulics, good to go. So I hope this was helpful to someone. If it is, please consider to hit that like and subscribe button. For Matt at Firewood in the Field, see you next time.